Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I am Derek, and I'm with my partner, Jimmy.
Hi.
So, today we are going to go over chess tactics. So, the first thing we're going to go over is hanging pieces. And what hanging pieces are is pretty much pieces that are not defended. So, what do you do when there's a hanging piece? Well, we capture it.
Let me go ahead and show you guys a demonstration. Let's say black here makes a blunder. He moves his knight in front of the bishop. Well, it's a hanging piece now. You take. Alright, moving on.
Alright, so the next thing we're going to cover is forks. And no, I'm not talking about the forks that you eat with. What fork in chess means. It means a piece that is attacking multiple pieces. So, for example, Jimmy.
Alright, right here. Black is forking bishop and knight with this pawn that's protected by a queen. So no matter what he does, let's say knight moves away, black can take the bishop. Or let's say bishop captures, black can take the bishop. Let's say bishop moves away, then black can take the knight. And that's what a fork is. It's when a piece of yours attacks multiple pieces. A very common example of this, let me just go back, is when bishop queen goes missing in action and knight attacks this. When he takes this pawn right here, the king and the rook is being forked. And that's what fork is used for.
Now, the reason why forks are so powerful is because when you're attacking multiple pieces at one time, it's like in this example, the king and rook is attacked at the same time. Well, black couldn't possibly defend both of them at the same time, especially since the knight is checking the king. It's the king has to be put to safety. So the king moves to safety, in which case the king only has one legal square, and now the rook is captured. There was no way black could defend both the king and the rook at the same time, and this is why forks are so useful. Now, the next thing we're going to go over is pins. And basically what a pin is basically saying a piece cannot move, or else something else is going to, or else they're going to lose something even more valuable.
So let me real quickly demonstrate what a pin looks like. I bring out a knight right here, and rook goes over and pin the knight to the king. Knight can't move because king will be put into check. So knight has to stay. This is considered or called an absolute pin. There's two types of pin, a relative pin and an absolute pin. A relative pin is when, let's say, you replace this king with a queen. This is a relative pin. Knight can move, but knight doesn't want to move, because when he moves, he loses the queen. So relative pin is also very powerful. Here's a strategy that what people do with pin pieces. So let's say one of the pieces is pinned, like this knight here. He can't move. Most people would defend the knight. It doesn't really matter because knight can't move. So if you attack it with a pawn, they just win a knight for a pawn. And that's a strategy you use when you're pinning a piece, most of the time.
Alright, so the next thing we're going to go over is skewers. Now, skewers is very similar to what a pin is. But it's like the opposite. Instead of the more valuable piece behind the pinned piece, the more valuable piece is in front. So, for example...
So, an example of that, I have to truly move to end games because it's more... you see it more often in end games. So, this king is in front of this rook. So let's say a rook comes in there and checks the king. Well, king has to move out of the way because he's in check. But because he moves out of the way, the rook skewers over to the other rook and takes it. And that's what a skewer is. There's multiple examples. Bishop can skewer as well. So a different example is instead of a rook here, let's say in a diagonal, bishop can skewer you and take the rook. And that's what a skewer is.
And
There's a reason why we're going over tactics, though. It's because tactics is how you gain an advantage over basic chess playing. When you play chess and you're moving pieces and you're developing, tactics will help you get the advantage you need in order to win. If you don't use tactics, it will basically end in a draw most of the time, every time.
basically, a tactic is just used to gain the upper hand and to gain the advantage so that you can checkmate your opponent. So, with that being said, that's all that we have today. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.